on the Screws Podcast, episode number 100. Battling through a little flu bug here, but the show must go on. Bryce and I want to thank all of our listeners for the continued support. All the messages over at OTS Golf on Instagram, connecting with everybody in the community over the last couple of years has been so rewarding for us. Support for today's episode comes from our friends over at trueclassictees.com. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you can get 25% off plus free shipping right to your door. You can shop the activewear or the outerwear. Both of those collections go really well with fall golf at trueclassictees.com. Using the promo code OTS Golf, 25% off plus free shipping directly to your door. Enjoy the pod.
3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2. 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo. New driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into, start right, good line, good view, it drew, shoot him McGavin, 2 thumbs up, so high and 2.
Bryce, on the Screws Podcast, episode number 100. We made it, man.
Wow. Made it.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to, make it this far. So pretty much we're coming up on 2 years, 52 weeks in a year. So we release
That's
every
crazy.
Friday. Yeah. So
Doesn't seem like that long, honestly.
no, it doesn't. But we had a couple weeks where we doubled up around some majors and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much nearly bang on 2 years, which is awesome. So thanks for everybody checking us out Friday afternoons. We usually get it out by 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And the last few weeks have been really good. The downloads have been good. I should say the last few months, really, an extended period of time, they've been really good. So we had a guest set up for this week. I know we mentioned Mack Boucher was going to be on with us this week a few weeks ago. And just due to some travel and stuff, he's not able to be with us. So hopefully we'll get him back on in a few weeks and we can kind of see what he's up to. But Bryce and I had an idea to, and we've always kind of wanted to do it. So we figured this would be a good idea to go through some of our old episodes, kind of talk about some of our past guests and, what it meant to us to have them on and hopefully what it meant to them and, just kind of the learning that we've done through them, right? So the way our pod works, if you're by chance a first-time listener, hopefully you come back. But we usually get on like a brand, a golf brand, player, a pro, that kind of thing, influencer, somebody in the community in the golf space. And Bryce and I have a chat with them and kind of learn about their career, their path, their story, and some other weird shit along the way too sometimes. It's fun, man. We're just a pretty organic podcast and we have a lot of fun doing it. So we figured we'd hop in and chat about a few this week. And, so my name is Mack. Again, if you're a first-time listener, this is Bryce. Hello, Bryce. So
Hello.
We're both golfers, avid golfers, pretty good golfer someday, pretty bad golfer some other days. Bryce is an all-around athlete. I'm just a golfer now. That's it. So this is just like something that we started or that I started a couple years ago. Bryce came on. Like, Bryce, you've been on for probably 18, 19 months, something like that now.
Yeah, I think I came 5 months into after you started. I think I missed the first 15 episodes maybe, and then I kind of jumped in. So
yeah, so it was it's kind of cool, and it's always nice for us to be able to have a chat and like catch up. And we wanted to kind of let everybody know a couple of things that we have in the works. So we're gonna start working with a couple sponsors. Pod is kind of expensive to run, so we've been pretty transparent with we want to keep it as organic as possible, have as organic as communication as we can. So we've always been with Manscaped. I use Manscaped as soon as I get out of the shower every day.
Me too.
It's a product that I use, and like I had 2 people say, hey, like actually today I had 2 people say we use the code OTS Golf over at manscaped.com. Little plug, but it's a product that we both use, we believe in. So we figured, why not give it a shot? Smells good, makes you feel good. And if you're walking on a hot day and you got the crop preserver on, you're going to feel good. And True Classic Tees. So we're going to work with them a little bit. I've worn the tees before. I know a lot of my buddies have, so you can go over to trueclassictees.com, use the OTS Golf tag, and you're going to get 25% off plus free shipping. So great quality stuff. And a couple brands that we want to work with. And we've got another one in the works and that we're going to start up probably in a couple weeks. So look forward to that if you're into sports and if you're into sports and money. Making money potentially. So we'll get some of that stuff out, and we want to do some IRL content, like some in real life content. Bryce and I, something that we've been talking about for a while. As you guys know, Bryce got married recently, was very busy over the summer, so it's been hard for us to kind of connect. We're about 4 hours away. I'm in Toronto, Bryce is in Michigan, so I think we're going to try and, if we can get out, get a round of golf in, maybe play a scramble, something that we could video pretty easily, or just get some pods in real life together. So we tried
Yeah,
it.
this
We tried it once and it kind of it was a little tricky. So we got to work it out
yeah.
now.
Yeah, this summer was just tough. I mean, I was just talking to my wife the other day. I was like, that summer just flew by.
Yeah.
And I think just with the wedding and everything, how busy we were prepping and getting ready, we just didn't really have time to do much. So, in the future here, we're gonna get together a little more, and 4 hours isn't bad. I can do that in a day and drive home if I want to. So,
Yeah, exactly. Like we can.
we're gonna get some content and get into that game too. So, look forward to that for sure.
Yeah. So if you're a golf course between Toronto and Michigan, pretty much what border would you go through? Windsor, I guess. Yeah.
Windsor, yeah.
Yeah, so somewhere in there, and you've got a clubhouse that we could sit in and record a pod and talk about your golf course. Send us a message at OTS Golf over on Instagram. We'd love to come out visit, and I think that that'd be a pretty cool idea to try and get some of these courses and go out and play a little bit, get a little content, and then talk about the course and talk about some of Canadian golf and some U.S. golf and
Yeah, even some courses in the Detroit area too.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. And if you belong to clubs and want us to swing by, tag your club and maybe get a hold of the pro to get a hold of us, and we can work something out. Maybe play with some listeners or something.
Yeah, like I've got a couple things set up with like some of the guys at Scarborough and stuff like that. So it's just trying to find time, but it's definitely something we want to do. And now that we have a bit more time, if you're out in the city and stuff like that, and Bryce and I can come meet up with you, like let's play around. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, we're all for it. Especially now that I have a little more time and we can work something out. We'd love to come play with you guys and kind of hang out with you for a round. And we're never scared as long as we have the time to do it. So.
Yeah, hopefully you get player A, not player B, because player A and player B are very different for me. But
depends what you
exactly
depends what you need that day.
Yeah, you might want to listen to the pod a lot, or you might be like, this guy's never hit a golf ball in his life. But
exactly.
Somebody who has hit a lot of golf balls in their life, walking it back about a year ago, we had Ryan Gregnell. Ryan Gregnell is the longest hitter in Canada, one of only 3 men on the planet, 3 golfers on the planet to hit the ball 230 miles per hour plus ball speed. And he was able to battle Bryson in the first event. Bryson did the PLDA championships right after the Ryder Cup, if you guys remember.
The crowd was more engaged. I think that's what the big thing was. It was either the players were more engaging, so a lot of big personalities like Bryson just coming from the Ryder Cup. We've seen him on the first tee at the Ryder Cup. Pull the driver out, hold it up. Essentially, he was like, that was Bryson. That's who he is. That was him on the tee box. I got lucky enough to be on it with him. I think we were in the same group twice.
Man, I was listening to the Full Send podcast with Nelk Boys, and he was he was saying because he on the first tee on the final day of the Ryder Cup, he drove the green and then takes his putter and walks off like it's like I don't know, like Thor's hammer or something, right? So he talked about how that was like such a cool experience, and I like that part about Bryson. Like I know a lot of people say, okay, like Bryson's like weird or unique or whatever, but like that's the part that I love to embrace about Bryson.
Another episode that we had on this year was Zach Feminitz. Really cool episode for us, especially me, just growing up with him, playing hockey and golf with him since I was 9, 10, maybe younger. He's now was at Moorhead State University and now is trying to get through Q school to get on some tours. So that was a great episode.
I always loved golf growing up. I never really took it too serious. I did tournaments, but not like the GAO qualifier.
I mean, you always had the talent though.
Yeah, I always loved it. I always was decent. Wasn't the greatest, but when he said that, I just took the clubs out of the garage. They had spider webs on them. I went to Deer Creek Academy and just grinded for like a month, and then met my coach in South Carolina at Furman's golf course, and shot 83, 81 in front of him, but I hit it like 350 down the middle every time.
Yeah, and back about a year ago too, which is pretty cool because Sung Jae just played in the President's Cup, so we were able to have Billy Spencer on, who is his luber, his caddy, fellow Canadian, lives down in Texas now, but we were able to chat with them right around the Olympics. Sung Jae's played all the biggest events in the world. He's probably a top 20 player in the world right now, and just kind of learn what it's like to be a PGA Tour caddy. He's caddied for so many guys. so you can always go back. Any of these ones that we're talking about, you can go back and listen to the full episodes, but we're going to link a clip, and it's just really cool to see like how a professional caddy does it on tour.
Does he rely on you quite a bit on the course for like your knowledge with the yardages, or do you does he have his own book that he goes by?
No, we work together on it. The hardest thing probably is that he uses meters, and so I mean, I've been in this business for over 20 years, and I've never worked for a player in meters before. So now we get our books in meters, so there's no other than converting the pin sheet, which is pretty simple. I mean, 10%, if it's on 27, I put it on as 24. That stuff's pretty easy, but visually it's difficult. 200 meters is 220 yards.
Right.
When you play golf and you do this a lot, you kind of know what 200 looks like, and so when you call out 200, you're thinking 200, well, it's maybe a 5 or a 6 iron, but really it's 220 yards, and now you're thinking it's like a 3 or a 4.
Are you always late for your tee times? Can't keep pace on the course? Or standing over the ball way too long thinking that this time it's going to be different? Quick pause from today's episode to bring you a note from today's sponsor, the Vincero Collective. If you're looking for the perfect accessory to keep you on time for a limited time only, get 20% off plus free shipping site-wide. Support the pod with our exclusive code OTSG at thevincerocollective.com. Never be late for a tee time again.
Yeah, another fantastic episode we had was Callum Davison. Played in a few PGA Tour tournaments this year, including the Waste Management, I believe, and the Canadian Open.
Yeah, he was in the Monday qualifier, for the Waste Management.
Monday, but he did play in the Canadian Open. I do know that.
Correct, yeah.
Cross-handed golfer. Amazing golfer. Some really cool stories in that episode about him being cross-handed and people not knowing. That was a great episode for us.
And if you go over and watch that over at On the Screws podcast over on YouTube, you see a lot of just Bryce and I with the wheels spinning. It's,
jaws on the floor.
Yeah, just thinking, how does that work?
Yeah, you could be traveling around making some pretty good cash off some of these guys in some of these cash games. Went out of some of these clubs. Just go up there on the range with the cross hand, just put a couple off the hosel, and then
Oh, exactly. You just shank a couple, and then you just right into it.
Exactly. Love it.
Hey, buddy, I'll play you cross-handed today.
So we've been lucky enough to have on 3 of the best putter companies in the world, best putter builders in the world. These are all custom builders. We've had Brandon Matthew, Mack Made Putters, Josie Mack from Mack Made Putters, and Tyler Lowy, one of only 2, I think, who hand mills them. So all of them are a little bit different. We're going to roll a couple clips from each of these episodes, but they're pretty unique. Like Brandon Matthews had like in background where he worked with like the FBI on a couple things. He's like with baseballs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He's, kind of got into the putter game late. He's a commercial pilot. Josie Mack was like working on hot rods and stuff like that. And then eventually got into putter building, makes some of the nicest ones. Obviously, my name is Mac, so those ones stick out to me quite a bit. And then Tyler Lowy being another one where Bryce and I were just kind of like that's my jaw dropping to the floor when we realized that like he hand mills these things, like completely hand mills his putters, which is something that is completely absurd, incredibly talented. So it's just kind of cool to be able to learn how each one of these guys, being one of the best at what they do, kind of approached their craft.
Brandon Matthews has won recently on the Corn Ferry Tour. That's why I said to you. That's why I get kind of confused by that, right? But
I got tagged left and right for that guy's victory.
What a nice little shout out. You got to get him a putter, man.
I talked to him 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I sent him a DM. I'm like, dude, I go, is this a match made in heaven or what? Like, should you roll one of my putters? And he was like, I think maybe he hadn't heard of me. He's like, dude, that's so awesome. He goes, obviously I'm rolling good right now. I think he's playing like a 2-ball.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send him something. I'm going to send him like a number 2, little flow neck, and maybe he'll roll it, and maybe it gets on tour. But I'm trying to figure out how I make it like cool, because I want to incorporate my name, obviously.
Yeah.
And his name. So
just
I'm going to try to
S in brackets or something. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I was going to go Brandon Matthew and like a couple, brackets and like an S with like a asterisk next to it or something.
Yeah.
Anybody checking us out over on the Screws podcast over on YouTube, you can see a little bit of your truck, at least the front right wheel, and yeah, there we go. We see a little bit more now. That's pretty cool. you're kind of still working on cars a little bit, but that's how your past was. You're working on hot rods and whatnot. Can you give us kind of an idea of any of the cars you've worked on?
Yeah, we were talking earlier. I think that I did the math and figured out that's probably my 37th or 38th vehicle that I've owned. Everything from 1940s hot rods to brand new BMW. So I have a very diverse, I guess, a love for anything automotive. I've had Jeeps and four-wheel drive trucks to lowriders to bag trucks to old pickup trucks to high horsepower hot rods. Pretty much everything. I really don't have many genres that I don't appreciate.
And what you just kind of like you CNC'd one, you just kind of like thought you'd give it a shot?
No, so I make all these right in I have a barn, a 2-story barn in my backyard. And it's like I've had a little welding shop in my backyard for a long time since I bought my first house. And it's evolved over the years to like a mini machine shop, but I don't have any CNC capability, so they're all done on a manual Bridgeport by hand.
Oh wow, really?
So all these putters are hand milled, yeah, and all the necks are turned on a lathe by hand.
Wait, seriously?
That's wicked.
Oh yeah,
I had no idea. I wouldn't have been able to tell.
All right, so it's like early. It's early in the pod, but we like, I guess she's like, man, I'm actually like kind of shocked.
Really?
Like, how do you?
I had no idea.
Give us like the building process then. Like, so how do you like? You just got a block of steel and you just go from there. Like, how do you?
Yeah. So I bought a big bar of some clearance 1018 mild steel from my local supplier, and I hacked down a little piece in my horizontal bandsaw. I square it all up in the Bridgeport. Then I lay it all out. I hit it with blue layout dye. I lay it all out by hand. I have pretty much two head shapes that I work off of, and they kind of like deviate a little bit depending on what that specific person wants or like what we talk about or kind of how I'm feeling that day or whatever. So lay it all out by hand, then just start milling away at it on the Bridgeport.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm kind of like
radio silence. Radio silence. We're just
that's impressive. I mean, we had another three separate guests come on the pod in the head cover business. All Canadian companies, all fantastic companies. First we had Dormy Workshop. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of them. They make really, really high end leather head covers and do a lot in the community, which is fantastic. And then we had Pioneer, AJ over at Pioneer. He made, actually, if you're watching on YouTube, we got a couple from him here in my hand. He makes great quality head covers. Max got his there too. He's a great friend of the pod. Really glad to connect with him. And then Matt Dick from Hazel Golf. What a story he had kind of getting into the head cover business, and kind of his journey is definitely a story to listen to. He made us a few custom ones too. I got my wedding date and our hashtag, and then American and Canadian flags. My wife's American and I'm Canadian, so he's awesome over there. And those were 3 fantastic episodes.
Yeah, he had he made one for Portnoy as well when Dave Portnoy was doing and then Nick Taylor as well had one on the bag at the Canadian Open when I was there. I sent him a photo, or I think I like tagged him in a story, which was really cool. So it's always kind of cool to like hear that in story and then kind of see that in real life.
And it was September where there was a Ryder Cup on, and that's kind of where the name was derived from, because they kept speaking about Dormy and this, Dormy that. So that was one of the words that we thought would be cool for the business. And then we wanted to have that old world feel. So we thought if we put workshop in there, people will kind of get the kind of that feel that there's a craftsman or a crafts lady that's, working while sipping whiskey and popping rivets and, all these kinds of romantic leather industry things that you've seen over the past. So that's kind of how the name came from.
I like that vision there, the sipping whiskey and popping rivets.
Always love golf. Always love the golf accessories and everything to go with it. Kind of had that mentality where I like to stand out on the golf course, whether it be with clothes or clubs or head covers. And kind of accidentally fell into this little world of building head covers.
It's local to where I live, and the university does a golf tournament with him every year for his charity, and I did a bunch of head covers up for them, and then I felt, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity for me to showcase my stuff to a PGA pro. So I went on his Instagram and tried to figure out like what is he into, what is he like, and at the top it says Canadian, Mario Kart 64, Washington Husky, and I'm like, perfect, I'll do him up a Mario Kart one. So I did him up Mario with a flag, riding in the cart, and then gave it to the Cody Stewart, the guy who was dealing with all the stuff, and he handed it over to him, and then sent me photos the day of Nick Taylor rocking the head cover during the round, and then my uncle called me and said, "Are you watching the Waste Management?" I said, "No." They turn it on. Nick Taylor's got your cover in his bag right now.
All right, and then friend of the pod, I got his hat on right now. Had to
Huge
wear this
friend
one.
of the pod.
Yeah, had to wear this one in support of our friend Chris over at Custom Clubs. Doesn't give his last name because there's so many weirdos out there, but but yeah. So Chris has been on a few times, and I think he holds like status as our like second most downloaded episode ever, maybe even our first, which is pretty amazing. So I know he's got a really, really cool organic following. He redid my putter and sent me a couple divot tools as well. Just a really, really phenomenal guy. Does a lot of good work. Sorry for the Velcro in there, but I'm gonna show it on YouTube. But like, it doesn't do it any justice. You gotta have a look at it in real life. I need to post some photos and stuff over on the page. But if you're looking,
explain what it is real quick.
Yeah, so pretty much what he does is, well, I guess he drops it in a bucket with some copper thing and some wires and stuff like that. He opens up his garage door, does some Breaking Bad stuff, and then it comes out looking really beautiful. So I would encourage you to go back and listen to any of the episodes that we've had with him, or his pal Brandon from Shafts and Balls, who reshafts 200 plus clubs a week or a month or something, or a day. I don't know, but like, it's absurd how many, and he's one of the best in the biz. We talked to Brandon quite a bit, and Chris will tell you if you have like a question and you really need to know. We've been lucky enough to chat with a couple of those guys who are just some of the best at their craft. Yeah, the people are after you, man. Wait till you make that jump to get yourself a tour truck, head to the live tour, and you're gonna start feeling it, man.
Oh, God. You're gonna steal Chris too.
I'm gonna go grab Nick Baldo's ass.
Yeah, just in 400 million for Chris to go over the live.
What do you have on the go right now? Like you were saying that you reshaft like 200 clubs a month. Is that what you're saying, Brian?
Yeah, third day off. I took a 3-day hiatus just because I needed a little time, and I'm probably gonna walk back into. I know I have 2 full sets of irons that got to be done by Friday. I'm gonna walk into the overload from the last 3 days of people snapping their clubs over their knees and needing them done by their round on Saturday. All this typical bullshit. But yeah, it's pretty much pedal to the floor every day, bust out as much shit as I can, and hope that the next day, I don't get too much in. It's wild.
Another one that was kind of through my family friends, I guess, was Cole Perfetti. Grew up with my brother. I always remember him as a little kid, but growing up, and now he's in the NHL. So he was a really cool episode to have. Probably our only non-golf related pro athlete, I believe. All pod, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so. And like the idea was Bryce and I wanted to do some like interaction with other like pros or people that were, and we had Stewie on a couple weeks ago. He's the developmental coach with the St. Louis Blues. And kind of the idea is like golf is a passion, and we're all very passionate about it, and kind of just learning a little bit more about their stories, how they got into the game, similar to how we did, right? And it's kind of cool to see, somebody like Cole being a top 10 pick into the NHL, Winnipeg Jets, being drafted in all these fantasy leagues and stuff like that, because ours just went down. But kind of seeing how passionate they are about the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's cool because I know Cole only started like 2 years ago, and it's kind of cool how I think hockey kind of pushed him towards golf, because hockey and golf coincide so well together, because you play hockey in the winter and then all the hockey players play golf in the summer. And it's just cool to hear about the connection, and he goes through all that in the episode with him.
Are you a superstitious guy? Hockey players are notoriously superstitious.
I'll give you his answer right now, because everyone says it. I try not to be superstitious, but I have a couple of things.
Yeah, there's a couple things I do. I wouldn't say I'm superstitious, because
you know, if certain things, you know, don't go in a
Throws
certain
you
way,
off.
like it doesn't throw me, like it won't throw me off if like, you know, something doesn't happen in the exact way that I need it to. Obviously I try to do, like, I'll take my stick the exact same way.
Yeah.
And
Those
I'll
are
have
both
a coffee
definitions of being superstitious. Both of those things.
What do you mean?
They're
Not
no,
really.
they are superstitious ways, right? So
Yeah.
I was saying to Bryce, like I always put my stuff on left hand side, like so.
I was a freak when
All right, we made it through 9, and this glizzy is brought to you by our friends over at Manscaped, manscaped.com. You can go over, check out the Ultra Premium Collection, or anything that you need to not suffer through the back 9 here. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. Maybe you'll go low on the back. Thank you for supporting the episode. Thank you for supporting the pod. Manscaped.com, 20% off using the promo code OTS Golf. Free shipping right to your door. Enjoy the pod. Just a few weeks back before the CP Women's Open, I had literally the week before, I had the pleasure of sitting down with one of the best young golfers in Canada, Lauren Zaretsky, 2021 Canadian Women's Am Champ, extensive background profile. She's only been playing the game 6 years, debuted on the LPGA, not as a professional, but as an amateur. She is going to Texas Tech. She's down there right now. I know they were playing Pebble Beach a couple days ago, and she's always crushing it. Like her swing is beautiful, incredible golfer, one of the best like up and coming players. Like Canada, like golf in Canada is growing immensely, and she's leading the charge on the female side, and it's pretty exciting to see. In her first round, she made an ace in her LPGA debut, which was pretty cool. So, just a really good opportunity to chat with one of the best young golfers in Canada and kind of see her story and what got her into the game and some of the struggles that she had when she got started and kind of where she is now and where she is going. You know, golf is widely known as the hardest sport to pick up or the hardest sport to learn, right? We're hitting this tiny little white ball with a long golf club. Like, were you missing any, or are you just like getting a piece of all of them? Like it just felt natural, or?
I was like in the beginning, I was self-taught. So going into like the tournaments in 2016, I was all self-taught. No one touched my swing. It was all pretty natural. Like I got the hand-eye coordination from squash. I had the speed also. So squash is all about eye-hand coordination and speed. So I had those two things right off the bat. So I was hitting it like 200. I was bombing drive.
I've had this company on the pod a few times over the course of the episode, our 100 episodes, or 99, I guess. Bob, let's see if I can nail this. Winskowitz, I think it is. With Squares Golf. I mean, he's been on a few times and never fails to be one of our better episodes because we click so well with him. He's such an amazing guy. They have an amazing company over there. They got crazy design features that they have proved work. Me and Mac both wear the shoes. We love them. They're fantastic. And he's a great golf personality.
Yeah, he definitely is. And he has a ton of contacts, obviously. Some of their athletes, John Daly, Nick Faldo, Sepp Straka being, one of the top players in the world, especially trending towards that. Official world golf rankings, again, don't have them in front of me, but Sepp is skyrocketing lately. And like I can attest, it's one of the most comfortable, it is the most comfortable golf shoe I've worn. So I think it's definitely something, and the best quality as well. Like they are well built. If you're kind of looking to get a shoe that's going to last you the duration of your season and that you don't mind putting out a few bucks on, you got to go check out Squares, because you will, the dogs will thank you.
I don't know of any other golf footwear company out there that's putting forth all the science and the technology and say, listen, don't believe us. Get on a body track, get on a pressure mapping system, get on swing speed monitors, and go ahead. And we just concluded a situation with an analysis with Sepp Straka and his, where he was on his neutral position with FootJoys, his old FootJoys, and where he is at Squares. And he had a better balance at a neutral position. And then getting the weight quickly from the right side to the lead side was amazing. And it was the distance gains between the two shoes was well over 12 yards.
I hope my chair's not squeaking here too much. As Bob's talking, Bryce, what's that?
I can't hear it.
Can you? Are you just like trying to like go through your swing and you're sitting? I'm sitting here in my chair, like kind of like moving left to right a little bit. Moving another Bob. We can't forget another Bob. Bob Weeks.
Weeksy, every time we have a Masters show, which has been a couple now, we've been lucky enough to have, we're kind of, I guess we're in like the media space and stuff now. We're kind of in the golf media space, and like leading the golf media space in Canada is Bob Weeks. He's been doing it forever since Score Golf, now to TSN. He's the lead analyst, and he takes some time when he is either flying, sitting in the airport, just got to his Airbnb in Augusta, wherever he is, and kind of gives us a breakdown and a preview of what's going to be happening at Augusta for the Masters. So it's always really, really good to chat with Weeksy. Just like a really great guy. So many great contacts in the golf world and just extremely knowledgeable. So the fact that he takes some time out of his day and his busy schedule around that time for us is incredible. So always a good chat with him. You can look forward to seeing that one around the Masters in April for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm 0 for 2 with Weeksy, so maybe we'll get one here next year for the Masters.
You did challenge him to a match, and
did.
I think he said he would bring Scully along or Zakino. So maybe we can get something together next year. I think that'd be a lot of fun. We can meet down at Western.
I say, yeah, I challenged him, but I think Mac challenged him on my behalf, so I just accept it now.
Bryce never shies away from a challenge.
But I'm in the egg salad, and Graham Dillette and I have an egg salad eating contest. And what we do is we take the wrappers, and we have a little office in the media center, and we thumbtack the wrappers up against the bulletin board. And at the end of the week, our producer Jamie Rydell counts them down, and there's a big reveal as to who's managed to eat more egg salad sandwiches. And I've never even come close to what GD can do. He can
I was just about to say that there's Bob Weeks, the seasoned runner now, versus Graham Dillette, the professional athlete. I feel like Graham would get a few more of those.
We're gonna wrap things up with friend of the pod, somebody I talk to like almost like daily, it seems. I tout him as the most muscular golfer in the world, and it was kind of this was a really unique episode, something that I used to do some bodybuilding in my past. Sean is an IFBB pro, Sean Lindell. He is Sean Lindell, IFBB pro, I believe, over on Instagram. Body by Lindo. He does some training, and he is starting a clothing company, Black Muscle Golf. So it's kind of cool to hear like the different approach to his, how he kind of got into the game, being like 270 pounds, how he moves it around, and just realizing that like whoever you are, you can play the game, right? So there's so many different bodies, so many different types of personalities that play the game and that we get to chat with. And, Sean was one that was kind of like unexpected, and him and I were just shooting the shit for like 2 hours. It was really cool. We had to click record for part of it, but it was a lot of fun, and it was a really cool episode.
The looks that people like, are you at the right place? And when I pick up on that, I make a joke about it or something. I'd be like, I'm just wearing this, but my football uniform is in the car, and right. Whatever it is that you're thinking, my whole goal is to break the ice, right? Sure, so I pretty much almost say whatever, do whatever to break the ice for that wall to come down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thanks to Sean, thanks to all of our guests that have been on with us in the last, we're recapping about the last year or so here, because we did do a recap episode around number 50 or so when the pod was about a year old. So feel free to go back and check out any of our work. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. We, Bryce, I haven't even told you this, but we had over 100,000 downloads this year. So, or sorry, I think that might be since the infancy of the pod, or the inception of the pod. But yeah, so having 100,000 downloads, it's something that's pretty cool. It means a lot of people are really like interested in the pod, and it's something cool that makes us feel, validated. Not that we're not really the pod that's looking to be validated, but we put a lot of time and effort into it. We make a lot of contacts. We've made a lot of friends. I don't think we've made any enemies yet. So, we'll try harder to do that in the future and create some dramatic content and stuff. We never really we never really like picked a side on the Live versus PGA Tour. We could have found some enemies somehow, but
yeah, and I don't think we ever will. We're just not the type of pod to pick fights. I mean, we'll continue to be to grow the game and to connect people with us and other people and companies with other companies, because that's just what we're here to do. And we appreciate everyone who comes on, and then everyone who listens also. I mean, it's been pretty crazy that we're at episode 100, and we appreciate every bit of it, and we enjoy every bit of it. So I don't think we're going away anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. And I think we're going to try and, trial and error is part of this and part of the growth of the pod and stuff. So we're going to try a couple different things. Let us know if you like hearing pods with Bryce and I. Let us know, because we would like to kind of talk about some more of our stories, like our life stories, our golf game, stuff like that. But also, like, we really like it to be a guest-based podcast where we can give a platform. If you're a past guest, reach out. We want to start kind of looping back. With that being said, next week we have okay, so I went through an extensive bio of Andy Walker. So he is the head coach at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. They're like a top 60 course or top 60 program in the States now, and they used to be like outside of the 150. So the work he's doing since he got there is amazing. Inaugural Black College Golf or Coaches Association Coach of the Year, 2022 A10 Coach of the Year, and 1997 NCAA champ and at Pepperdine, and former PGA Tour player. So yeah, so I think I did better in the next episode.
Yeah, you did. You nailed it.
So I think I like crushed it. So that's going to be out next Friday. Bryce and I don't plan on taking a break. So if you're any past guests want to come on, reach out to us at OTS Golf over on Instagram. Give us a follow. Go check out the platform over on YouTube at On the Screws Podcast. Subscribe there. We're going to try and release a bit more content there. Or if you're listening this far, we really thank you. And if you're in the golf space, if you're a golfer, pro golfer, you work in the golf space, you're part of a brand, a company, anything like that, and you want to kind of share your story with us, hop on the pod with us. Let's have a chat. And hopefully we'll be back here, in a year's time, or another 100 episodes or 50 episodes or so, doing another one of these, because this was fun, Bracer.
Yeah, and just to tack onto that, Mac, if you're a listener, past guest, future guest, please don't be afraid to reach out to us and let us know if you'd like to see us do something or do something different, or if there's something that you'd enjoy us doing more. We're open to anything. We'd like to keep adding to what we're doing. I don't think there's really a limit for us. So don't be afraid to reach out and let us know.
Constructive feedback is good feedback for us.
Even if it's negative, we can take it. It's fine.
It's constructive, right? It's constructive.
Yeah,
it's always good to have. It's always good to have feedback. But we're 100 episodes in. Bryce and I are extremely proud of it. We appreciate you guys listening to it. We take a lot of time out of our day to be able to do this, and it's something that's fun. It's like we get to have a chat about golf, kind of bring a bit of content, meet a lot of new people. So this year we're going to try and especially try to going into 2023 meet up with some of you guys, play a little bit more. The pods will keep rolling, but maybe we can even do some live pods and stuff like that, which would be a lot of fun. All right, so next week, Andy Walker, VCU head coach, already pre-recorded that one, so that one will be up Friday afternoon. And if you have any input, definitely let us know over at On the Screws Podcast over on YouTube. If you can, if you're listening, please go over to Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast, rate, subscribe, 5 stars, please. It definitely helps get us into like the weird algorithms and stuff that Bryce and I both do not understand. Same thing with YouTube. If you're kind of watching the video, appreciate you kind of clicking it open, having a watch, giving it a chance. Hopefully you like it, and then it'll give you an opportunity to let us know what you think as well.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Is out in my ball in the course where I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross working.